Hehehehe and welcome to PrisciTV. Prisci. 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 Prisci sounds lol. Welcome my brodas. To another stream. Today is the weekend peak day, and did I mention that is the weekend? Hi Doc. HJ Mello.
Wow.
Hi Mello. Hi voice. OMG Onolith, thanks you so much. Thanks you a lot. Morning Hattori. Stares intensifies? Don't look at me that much, Oka. OMG, thanks you for the 30 days streak, Mello. I am not Italian, lol. Hey to hum. Thanks you so much for the streak, Darth. Hey, don't stare, that makes me nervous. But how would you watch the stream if y'all don't stare? Nice question. Well, listening to Lololo. Hi Doc. I envy you, Doc. Today for me to have a shower was mega lol, but I will tell soon. Nightmare on real life. Ah, situation. My brodas, I hope y'all doing good today. I am excited to be here cause here is cool in IRL right now is a W full. I want to be here, lolololo. My brodas today it had been nightmare, I would describe that way.
Wow.
Today I had some blood test, the lab mom called, have a home service, so all good. That's okay, and all went okay. They came and actually all went cool. It was kinda fast though, lololo. Darth, thanks you so much. My brodas, thanks for helping me. All the blood test was okay, but when shower clean moment time came, oh my brodas, if you could tell y'all how shock and yikes and IDK, that was a new experience for sure. I have assistants and there's a place I can sit. And all was okay. I was really happy to had a shower. And I noticed something I didn't noticed before. There was like a black thing on the middle of the tiles, like the line of the tiles, and normally is white cuz mom cleans it often. My brodas. I shouldn't have looked. because I got too scared when I looked at it more. The line was full of bugs and that's so disgusting. I was ugh. So I really wanted to get it out of there. Mom also was when she saw it. It's just that seeing so many of those, it was so disgusting and they were moving and no hell nah. Mom helped me, I was on bed again. And she cleaned. But my brodas, that was hell nah, I had never seen something like that.
Wow.
And yeah, that was my highlight moment of the day, cause I lived a new experience I had never. But yeah, disgusting AF. Gail, thanks you so much. Thanks you a lot. Thanks you a lot. I will get it fixed when I can. But yeah, this climate is just letting em go wild. I feel so. Like that, I don't know how to explain that feeling. But yeah, that was scary. How fast those lil menace can exist. I hate em and I will declare the dead to em. OMG, thanks you so much. Doctor, thanks you so much. Thanks, mega thanks. Thanks a lot. My bro does, thanks a lot. I really can't wait to just exist on a place with no bugs. Like is just cuz is like everywhere. But yeah, they will know what to do. Also, I took the tips y'all told me. Welcome, Rocky, don't worry. I told Mom about I was worried if they can rob or something. Since I didn't think about it and y'all made me realize it can be something that can happen. And yeah, I had been looking reviews, and you know that the page or service have some backup of people that had used it before. And yeah, all good since I saw they actually work on cool places. And those cool places like you can't be robbing. Cuz would be a problem, so I hope they are cool people and just work. Also, I told Mom about if she gonna be there and she will try to be here, yes or yes. She told me there no chance I am leaving them alone, lol. But yeah, Mom is taking care of it. I was like, okay guard, lololol. But yeah, that was what she said, lololo. On da watch, yeah. Hey Moppy, hi. Hey, don't stare at me. Do you like me or something? Tips the fedora. Bro just stares. Bro is kinda a menace though. Thanks, I will do it when I can. But yeah, that had been basically my day. Maybe? OMG. Stop. Lol. OMG, that gremlin is for sure a menace. OMG, I loved that last emote you send. I like funny faces in general. And funny stuff. But I think we all like funny stuff. OMG, Prisci strawberry. Today I had an idea. Yeah, I know today I used the brain cell. Lol. I announced an all lolo. The thing is that I had the idea of drawing some emotes like myself. They will look scuff, but I think that would be the point. And have M for some time. And yeah, like I think M being so scuff will be the magic lol. I will think in something funny. Yeah, sir, I can do a emote that moves. Like 2 frames animation. Lololo. That would be lol. Well, maybe 4 frames. On paper. I was thinking on that on morning. I don't know, the idea just came to me and I was like, that would be fun. So yeah, I hope I can start doing it soon. I think I can do the days I will not be at home. I don't want to sleep all time. So I can use that time to do some fun Prisci emotes or mini animation emote. Yeah, so I will bring some emotes back to home, yay. I am excited. A lil scared cuz what do said but in all fact excited. A lil scared cuz what doc said but in all fact excited. I am a lil scared to be outside of home right now. But doc told me I should be more scared of being bitten by those bugs. Lol. But yeah, I know I will have a proper care. Is not the first time I had been take care. So I am sure all will go okay, but right now I am just scared of being on another place, that's all, is a dumb fear. But is for the best. And all the place will be clean and no bugs, and yeah, I will do my best to not miss mom and not feel scared. I am safe. I can do this. That's what I had been thinking of today. Lots of different stuff, but all's gonna be okay. I was thinking about making a post. But I gotta write something and post it, of course. May do after stream. I will hum. I will. Thanks a lot for helping me. Thanks a lot. I know I don't say it so much cause I feel shy, but right now is a mega bruh moment, so thanks a lot. Today I hope we are having a chill time, after all is the weekend, tips the fedora.
Wow.
Mello, thanks you so much. Thanks a lot.
Wow.
From myself and Murphy, get those buggies out of there.
Rocky, thanks you so much. My brodas, thanks infinite thanks. Thanks a lot. Not crying, but I'm really on a mega grateful moment. Thanks a lot. Murphy Gambat.
マーフィー頑張っと。
Give lots of love and pets to Murphy. EY Carlos, welcome. Hey Carlos, welcome. My brodas is a moment for some chill. Let's watch some vids. First vid is why we owe a vulture on steroids an apology. The title lolalol. But yeah. Big Bird. Big birds can be scary if they can lift a kid and steal kind small big things. Had seen vid around that is not a first time that they can grab a person. Vids. My brodas, thanks a lot for being here. Let's start vid time.
Don't be scared, he's just a baby. He will get bigger. Close your eyes and visualize the most disrespected animal on earth. Now open them and apologize for not thinking of the living laundry lint. You don't respect this dinosaur nearly.
I kinda want to touch 'em, they seem soft.
Enough. Many people have never seen this flying fossil, or they have and never wish to ever again. The world would be a legitimate horror movie without them, yet this creature and its kind are still very much maligned by humanity. But you'll see why. The first two videos pretty much sums up our relationship with them, especially when you let it play all the way. I told you, just a baby. That is a baby Andean condor, and condors are Jurassic vultures on steroids. There's the Andean and the California condor, and both are built like a prehistoric paralysis demon. They're the closest relative of Argentavis, and I live a life of decency and virtue because otherwise I know I'd see this homicidal death pigeon in hell. Argentavis flexed a wingspan of up to 23 feet, weighed as much as an adult man, and would have been about the size of a Cessna 152. And on the ground, they would have looked that same grown man in the eye. The condors of today are slightly smaller, with Andeans having a wingspan of nearly 11 feet, which is how the bird can stay in the air for hours without flapping their wings once. In fact, by using thermal drafts, one condor managed to soar for 5 hours and cover 100 miles. All that and no flap. The feather relic is also one of the longest living birds, with some surviving up to 70 trips around the sun. Not only does puberty turn an avian dust bunny into Skeksis from Dark Crystal, they end up becoming the biggest birds of prey on Earth. You can't imagine waking up to a dragon and drag outside your window, and that's because you're not from Chile. Not only is it the national bird of Chile, shout out to Chile, they even have a Chilean comic based on them called Condorito.
This comic is really popular. I remember my dad knowing it.
Lucky for Chileans, this dog, and my mental health, condors are absolutely harmless.
No, I didn't read it, but I know there's a popular phrase the character says when it falls. Is bloop, ploop, plop, plop, plop. Hi ZVJ. and the character falls. For surprise. It was also a thing people use on internet. On comments. In Spanish. When they are surprised. Plop.
Lucky for Chileans, this dog, and my mental health, condors are absolutely harmless. Unless you watch Total Drama, because that might have been the first time Alejandro got his rocked. But yeah, it's a good thing that a bird that could pass for a man in a suit is a scavenger. To be fair, that is a man in a suit, but it's for a good reason. Dude, I was kidding about the Jesus. Time really hasn't been kind to the condor. It might actually be the dinosaur left behind. Way back in the day, California condors made a meal out of megafauna like mammoths, bison, and giant ground sloths after they passed tense. It's believed that it was the presence of plus-size prey in the Pleistocene that allowed condors to get so big. The problem is, mammoths and giant sloths got discontinued a while ago, meaning a literal big bird got left holding the bag. It's a biological anachronism. The condorito was built for a time that is long gone, and when many of the megafauna disappeared, the condor flirted with the oblivion too. Somehow they survived, but that would not be the closest condors would come to extinction. The sick joke is, DDT was really good at murking insects, but even better at erasing everything else, and condors caught the biggest stray, since the same pesticides would weaken eggshells and cause them to break. Condors only have one egg every 2 years, and the lint chicken that comes out can take up to 8 to mature, and this painfully slow reproductive rate only made the effects of DDT hit harder. But wait, there's more. As an aerial coffin, many condors die from lead poisoning caused by the bullets hunters leave in the dead. Peno Beowulf was a condor raised in the Los Angeles Zoo who was released to help contribute to the population. He never would, as he would die 3 months later with an air gun pellet in his gizzard and another statistic for lead poisoning. And if that wasn't bad enough, Johnny Cash nearly soloed the entire species. Johnny Cash is known for many songs that I cannot name, but I do know him as the guy that got high, started a fire to stay warm, and caused a forest fire that not only burnt 500 acres of a national forest, it cooked 49 of the condors living there. When asked, "Did you start the fire?" Cash said, "No, my truck did, and it's dead, so you can't question it." "Okay, Cash." When asked if he felt bad, Johnny said, "Well, I feel pretty good right now." Evidently the
OMG. Damn.
forest wasn't the only thing that got blazed, and when the judge reminded him of his hate crime towards condors, Cash asked, why should he care? After the federal government took $125,000 worth of care out of his account, he got his answer. Also, I lied. I can name one song, Ring of Fire. No currency could bring the condors back though, and years of getting jumped by DDT, lead poisonings, and human hubris had the California condor population down all the way to 27 left in the world by 1987. The bird from a land before time was about to flatline. That is until
Here in Ecuador we have condors. And they are protected. Since they are in danger.
folks finally decided to step up. For all the damage done to the condor, humanity came in clutch for the cause. They went all out, first by capturing all the wild condors left, and when they were done, every condor alive was in captivity. Then they really put in work. Condor eggs have a longer release time than a Spider-Verse movie, but a biohack is that condors will often lay a second, even third egg if the first one is removed. So
our flag have a condor.
the strat was to collect condor eggs for caretakers to raise themselves, basically doubling the output. This would save the condor population at the last absolute second, as condors would begin to be airdropped back into the wild in the 90s, and today, there's over 500 California condors, both in captivity and seasoned across the Southwest. There is one problem with raising condors, and it's that the condors can become attached to humans.
Ah. Cute big bird.
And like we always say on this channel, the worst thing a wild animal can do is lose its fear of people. The condor compromise was raising these floof nuggets with hand puppets in their parents' likeness. This allowed keepers to teach baby condors how to condor while also retaining their natural fear of humans, which I thought was what was happening here, but I looked into it and this has nothing to do with conservation. This is just love of the game. Must be mutual, because if you look closer, that's also a condor in a man's suit. Convincing, right? But raising condors is more than just throwing meat at a panhandling puffball. There's a method. In the late 80s and early 90s, folks started raising kid condors in this like daycare system, but with no older birds. But because they had no older birds to use as role models, when the condors were released, they basically acted like teenagers with their parents gone for the weekend. They do things like approach people, invade campsites, and even enter buildings. Things you don't want an endangered species doing, so we had to adjust. Instead, folks shifted tactics based on how wild condors come up and would have a baby sitting by itself most of the time, only occasionally being visited by an adult, aka a puppet. Later on, they'd be assigned an older mentor condor to show them the ropes, and in the final step, both would be moved to a flight pen for the fledgling to learn how to fly. And caretakers would teach stranger danger by using the business end of a water gun on any condor that got too friendly with humans to keep them appropriately people PTSD. They'd also use like shock therapy to teach condors to avoid frying themselves on power lines. But the job's not finished once you have condors in the wild. I won't call them the pandas of birds because, well, one, pandas don't deserve that self-plug, but two, condors have an even harder time making more of themselves. 25% of California condor eggs are infertile duds that have to be replaced before the couple gives up. Side note, I just remembered, condors can pull a Virgin Mary where a female can lay and hatch a fully functional egg with zero male involvement, like maternal menaces. That's parthenogenesis, and I feel like having that move in your bag and almost never using it, even with your population halfway in past tense, like I get that it's mostly our fault, but like help us help you. Anyway, there's no guarantee when
OMG Lolo.
once the egg hatches anyway, because many chicks get accidentally poisoned by microtrash, which clogs their system and starves them to death. So researchers gotta constantly sift through the nests for microtrash, and any chick suspected to be contaminated is kidnapped and medevaced for surgery. Which also means someone has to camp by the nest for 24 hours and keep the parents from coming home to an empty one and abandoning it. Gatekeeping a dragon from its child for a day sounds more like a Mr. Beast challenge than a way to spend your zoology degree. If a released condor can avoid lead poisoning, pollution, and getting deep fried on power lines, it'll roam the skies for decades and hopefully make many more condors along the way. And if they're lucky, they'll have the same partner by their side the whole time. Condors do not get enough credit for how loyal they are. The symbol of unity can have a 5% divorce rate, and a penguin can propose with his best pebble and still get cheated on. But for the most part, a condor will see another condor and just spend the next 40 years making it work. Unless death really does them part. But condors aren't just loyal to their mate. Believe it or not, an overgrown struggle vulture has a social structure on par with chimpanzees and wolves. Condors have a social hierarchy, where every bird knows its rank, especially at the dinner table, where elders dominate. Which is why those raised without other condors end up with avian Alzheimer's, as in they forget their place. But it's not just a hierarchy. Condors will have a friend group that they'll hang with, and if you're around long enough, you'll see them preening, play fighting, and even chasing each other. They'll even look after other injured condors and share food with those that can't do so for themselves. What kind of bird of prey you know that's moving like that? The social butterfly nature is why we had to put on the hand puppets in the first place. When I said condors can get attached to humans, we're talking about a commitment lasting years. Eduardo is an Argentinian cattle farmer who found an injured condor on his property and helped bring the bird back to health. Now, every once in a while, the condor visits a man that saved him as a thank you and even tries to preen him. But to me, the wildest part is the condor didn't imprint on
Bird friend.
Ed because it eventually went back into the wild instead of following him around, so this venti vulture is actively going out of its way to see him. Who'd expect that kind of emotional depth from a cloud casket? Well, anyone who's worked with them, because they'll tell you that vultures are sky puppies with personalities that'll even have favorite keepers that they'll run to when excited. They're also curious and will play with anything from actual toys to the socks and shoelaces of their preferred human. Many keepers swear by vultures being the most fun bird to train because their curiosity and attachment makes them act like precocious children always looking for their parents' approval. They're even on the short list of animals smart enough to use tools, with Egyptian vultures using rocks to crack open ostrich eggs. You wouldn't expect that from a career scavenger and death merchant. Vultures have been underrated, and fun fact, there's old world and new world vultures. They're not related. Vultures are essential workers. They're just so important that nature went ahead and made them twice. But this is not a vulture glaze video, so before we talk about the good, we gotta speed run. Went ahead and made them twice. But this is not a
Not the cappies. Lolo. They always around anyone being chill.
vulture glaze video, so before we talk about the good, we gotta speed run the side you probably already know. Everything I've said about vultures is still true, but it's also true that they have the nastiest diet of any animal. They'll eat the foulest, most putrid piece of meat like a kid eats candy, and having a weak beak and feet means they'll break into a body from the worst half. which is why vultures are bald. No point in having feathers when you're going to be neck deep in a dead buffalo. Being bald also helps with temperature. So does another thing they do. Vultures practice urohydrosis, where they'll leak liquid nasty all over their legs to cool off like sweat. So if you see a vulture with ashy feet, now you know. Also, some vultures will weaponize their diet, as turkey vultures will projectile vomit sewer-smelling foulness I can't even imagine. Or maybe I just don't want to. Especially if they spray you in the eyes, and if it hits feathers, the acid nerfs the ability to fly. That's not the most offensive thing vultures do. Contrary to popular belief, black vultures will camp out in flock around sheep giving birth and immediately swarm the newborn, gouging the eyes out and eating the blind lamb alive. That's not even mentioning what vultures do to the economy. You do know vulture vomit and dookie juice
OMG.
can cause power outages when they pile up on transmission towers, and that vulture curiosity can send your car insurance into the stratosphere, as necro-tweeties are liable to scratch paint, rip rubber seals and wipers off cars, and even tear the vinyl seat covers from boats and tractors. That's not
This is not a group, this is a gang.
as bad as the possibility of them contaminating water sources with their acidic feces when the coliform bacteria from it invades water towers or reservoirs. Not to mention, being the highest flying bird can backfire when they join the Mile High Club after getting rear-ended by a plane engine, which makes vultures, in terms of damage, one of the costliest animals in America, estimated to cause about $3 million and $1.2 million in damages to military and civil aircrafts respectively. When you add the dent they leave in infrastructure and livestock, vultures are capable of burning a multi-million-dollar hole in the economy. But the real damage is to the economy of your social life. Let a guest see, smell, or otherwise perceive a committee of vultures on your property, and that might just be the last time they ever come over. But most people would probably forgive all of that if they weren't so ugly. So it's not hard to see how people see a vulture and see nothing but a nuisance. Well, vultures have no business being as OP as they are. Many animals have powerful digestive juices to eat carcasses, but no animal can match a Hades chicken's internal fortitude. Vulture's stomach acid has a pH lower than 1, meaning they can destroy toxins like anthrax and cholera that would one-shot almost anything else. Botulism is considered the most potent natural substance on Earth, as the toxins produced by bacteria attacks the body's nerves, causing muscle paralysis, difficulty breathing, and even death. Let alone the fact some people pay to put that in their face. The vulture's nervous system is resistant to that same bacteria and can also tank the same bacteria that can cause tetanus and gangrene with zero effects. Not to mention, when they're knee-deep in death and decay, leaking liquid on their legs not only cools them, it acts as an antiseptic that kills bacteria on contact. Vultures are what that 0.1% of germs are afraid of, and pathogens like tuberculosis, salmonella,
Not fair. Lololo. This is too OP.
Vultures are what that 0.1% of germs are afraid of, and pathogens like tuberculosis, salmonella, leprosy, and even rabies meet their end in a vulture's gizzard. Which is a big deal because if you watch this video, another plug, but you know rabies is the disease that scares me the most. The idea of a disease rewiring your brain chemistry for the worse while also making you afraid of water, something that is non-negotiable if you want to live, haunts me. Rabies buries an estimated 70,000 people a year, and with the most common cause of cases being dog bites, it's most destructive in areas with a large stray population, like India. But there's two things India did that gave rabies the green light. First was them criminalizing euthanizing stray dogs, but the main reason was a complete accident. Diclofenac was a drug used as a painkiller and anti-inflammatory for cattle, but that same drug also caused fatal kidney failure in the vultures that ate them. This did an absolute number on the vulture population, with many species cut down by 99%. Not only was it one of the fastest collapses of a bird species, the consequences of the sudden disappearance of nature's cleanup crew was predictable, as the number of rabies cases skyrocketed. And you remember what I said about vultures in the economy? Well, the free fall of the vulture population likely led to the deaths of 500,000 people and an economic loss of 70 million, $70 billion. From 2000 to 2005. But don't think it's just India that benefited from a scavenger stimulus package. Anthrax outbreaks are a semi-common occurrence in places like Kruger National Park in South Africa and Virunga National Park in the Congo. especially in places where you can have pool parties that contain more hippo than pool, and these outbreaks can kill up to 100 hippos at a time. Not only that, but these outbreaks can reach humans, as in 2011, over 500 cases of anthrax poisonings in humans were reported after 80-something hippos died of the same. Now imagine a carnage if you didn't have bald-headed equalizers clearing the disease for the free. Like I said, there's a reason nature thought vultures were so nice they made them twice. Vultures also contribute to society in less dramatic ways, as in the 1930s, the Union Oil Company of
Less dramatic ways. Yeah, IDK.
Vultures also contribute to society in less dramatic ways, as in the 1930s, the Union Oil Company of Texas started putting mercaptan in natural gas, and with turkey vultures often gathering around the smell, they'd use the birds as markers to locate gas leaks. Vultures also act as an alarm bell for illegal poaching activity, as them circling over an area is like a Batman signal to park rangers. Unfortunately, that has also made them a target for poachers, who purposely try to poison them. Evidently, the only toxin vultures have no answer for is humanity. Like I said, you do not respect vultures nearly enough, and I take back what I said about them being ugly. The griffin vulture mogs any eagle you can think of. The bearded vulture is like a Pokemon fire type come to life. The king vulture is just an ethereal specimen of a bird. That is, if you can ignore the chesticle situation. And oh, my sweet baby boy, if there are no condors alive, just know that I have died. And that's gonna do it for this video. Make sure you drink water, hug your mother, put some respect on the vulture's game. Shout out to this comment for making me make this video. Acknowledge your father, and I'ma see y'all in the next one.
Damn, I didn't knew they were so OP. And we have lots here. Here the problem is that people hunt them. People are dumb enough to post them, and will they get a penalty? I eat anthrax for breakfast is wild. Yeah, bros are important. I hope they can live for long years. The species. In general. Yesterday video was also wild. The topic about they sleep with half brain. Very me. Lololo. And how they sleeping on that position. Is interesting. Your brain is half asleep already. I know is the power of this stream. Lol. Sorry. When you see PrisciTV as something that it might happen. Half on, half off. Have a nice night-o voice. That Pepe stairs always gets me. I don't know what it is, might be its roundness. And greenness. Bruh, why it is like that? Lolololo. I think his looks just there staring. It looks just there staring. Pissed? I never saw it that way. Sorry, was a lil distracted by IRL buggies. My bad. It's just that I can feel M and it's hard to not try to make M go. 'Cause they bite. And I all bitten everywhere already. So I just don't want 'em. To be here on my space. To be here existing, I just don't want 'em, lol. Hey Ace Lolalolo. There's a VTuber on my YouTube. I was seeing the preview. Not me seeing a VTuber on stream lolololol by myself. Never saw her before. Her name is Med. And is all in Japanese. So couldn't understand better. Lololo. OMG, another one. But is also Japanese, and the name is on Japanese, so I don't know the name. Lolalolo.
Voice.
Look a Fallout video. Let's see it. I always love a Fallout messy vid. I don't know what's up with the game that the vids are always lol.
You know, I've always wondered if I lived in Fallout, would I be willing to do what it takes to survive? I mean, in a world like this full of mutants and other weird things, you'd probably have to get pretty weird yourself if you wanted to live. Like, what if you were really hungry, looking around your house for food, but all you could find were a bunch of carrots? Why are there so many goddamn... If you don't eat something soon, you'll probably die. So really, it's a choice between survival and starvation. And if you had to make that choice, what would you be willing to do? What? Cannibalism! Pretty universally considered.
OMG, just like vultures. I mean condors.
Considered bad, even in the Fallout universe where morality isn't necessarily top in that priority list. Even the people who are willing to kill and steal to survive generally understand that you probably shouldn't eat a guy, even if he looks like really tasty, even if he's wearing a hot dog costume. I'm gonna be wearing a hot dog costume later. Look forward to that. But still, even if universally looked down upon, that does not stop some people from doing it anyway. There are multiple different groups of man munchers across the Fallout universe, and I want to talk about 3 specific instances of them across 3 different games. The first one from Fallout 3, the best one from Fallout New Vegas, and one really interesting example from probably the last
Man munchers spoopy.
game in the series you would ever expect me to talk about. Each one of these examples is vastly different from the other, with some people just doing what they got to do to survive, and others who see it as a delicacy for only the most refined palate. Yeah, I got my pinky up. I'm fancy. And even though they're different, each one of them shows a unique corner in the incredible Fallout world. Anyway, the first example from Fallout 3 is in a town called Andale. A small town stuck in time pretending everything is normal. Not really much of a town necessarily. It's just a couple people living in the 3 houses that were left after this little suburban neighborhood got hit with a big nuke to the face. I immediately knew something was wrong here because the first person I talked to was this old man living in the smallest house on the block. And he tried his best to convince me to leave as fast as possible.
What? How? How did you get in here? What are you doing in this town? Get out! Get out while you can!
Claiming that all the people who lived here were evil and crazy. He said that if I didn't believe him, I should look in the basement or in the shed for proof. So I went to the main house to meet these crazy people that he was talking about. And they really didn't seem that strange at first. Why does everybody keep looking at me like that? These people aren't crazy. These are just God-fearing Americans who think the best thing a man can do is vote, and the only thing worse than a super mutant is a Democrat.
We didn't vote for any beatnik liberal commies, that's for sure.
What's so eerie about them is how they seem to act like everything is fine, and they put on this clear act of calm. Or maybe it's not an act, but it's definitely creepy. Now, this other house across the street is just the same layout of house, but flipped, and instead of a basement, they have a shed in the back. Both the basement and the shed are locked and require a key. So I figured I'd just poke around a little bit more, look for the key, and then sneak down into the basement at night. Now, if you look into the refrigerator in either of these houses, you will find that it is stacked full of something called strange meat, something that the old man's fridge does not contain. I asked the man's wife what he thought about all of this stuff, and she just kind of said that no one ever asks her opinion on anything, and then kind of just behaved like a mindless drone.
Oh, well, no one ever asks me my opinion about anything, but I love it here.
She didn't have the key on her either, so odds are it was with the big guy. I asked her and pretty much everyone else in the town about the old man who had told me everyone was crazy, but every one of them just kind of laughed it off. Though the wife did accidentally let slip that this was her dad, and keyword was, because he wasn't her dad, according to her, after she got married. Like, after she got married, he stopped being her dad. I also talked to the son, and he said he's gonna have to marry the little girl across the street, which he does not seem very interested in, mostly because he's pretty sure that's his cousin. Not exactly sure how this all lines up, but they are definitely keeping it in the family over on this side. He also said some crazy shit about how he doesn't normally get to talk to the new people because his dad will take care of them before he gets to.
I've never got a chance to talk to the new people.
Dad always takes care of them before I get a chance.
There wasn't much else to find in the town, so I decided to wait until nightfall when I could go in and steal the key. Once nighttime came, I snuck into the house and up into the room where
They gonna eat us.
I could steal the key. I took it and went downstairs towards the basement. Bodies strung up on meat hooks. More fridges full of this strange meat that we've now confirmed belonged to these people. Some of the bodies in here were raiders, but others, like this one, are just labeled as settlers. So they don't eat bad people or people who would cause them harm. They just eat people. Who you are has nothing to do with how you taste, I guess. They really just see you as meat. And a terrible, I don't know why they would ever just see you like that. Coming up from the basement, the people crowded around me as I walked out of the house to confront me about all my sneaking around.
Hey there, stranger. I've got something that I want to talk to you about. I couldn't help but notice that you're poking around in my basement. So, be honest now, you wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
Through your bed? No, I would never do that. I would never do that ever to you. Now, there's a few ways this can play out. You can tell them that you're cool with it and that you don't judge, and they'll leave you be. But in most other cases, whether you act squeamishly about it or boldly judge their choices,
Thanks,
the father will
Moppy.
adamantly try and defend his position that he was just trying to provide for his family, that they had to do this, else they would have died. Just putting food on the table. And in most circumstances, this conversation will end with them trying to kill you and probably eat you. My favorite line that he says was like, if you really go hard into him and judge him, he just goes, "Honey, get the ketchup."
No, friend. I'm afraid that we can't let you leave. Get the ketchup, Linda.
How are you eating dude with ketchup? You better eat me sauceless. If you're gonna eat me, I better go sauceless or I'm pissed. I wonder what sauce would pair best with me. I'm thinking of Dijon. What do we think? Oh, we're in pinky up territory now. Oh, we're getting fancy with the Dijon. They're not very hard to kill, especially if you have a big flame sword that leaves their bodies burning until the morning light. If you go and talk to the old man before you leave, he'll tell you that his plans are to take the children and raise them a little better than the cannibals might have. You know, under better values. Like, don't eat people. He also tells us that Andale, this town, was founded by 4 families over 200 years ago. So there was definitely some inbreeding going on here. My guess is that the whole, like, your father stops being your father once you get married is their weird way of getting around, like, marrying people you're related to. And maybe the years of inbreeding and cannibalism are what drove them mad to believe that everything was completely normal, and that's why they were acting that way. The grandfather, though, will hopefully take better care of the children and not make them marry their cousin. It's not a huge encounter. It doesn't have the most depth, but, I mean, that's Fallout 3 for you. If you want something a little more nuanced, with maybe an endless, overwhelming amount of ways that it can go, paths that you can take, then you might have to wander out west towards the Mojave and look into my second example of cannibals from the Fallout series in Fallout New Vegas. And there I was, just a little strip walking down the strip. I bought this costume just to say that. When I saw a
Lololo.
And there I was, just a little strip walking down the strip. I bought this costume just to say that. When I saw a sizzling sight, the Ultra Luxe Casino, the classiest, most high-end establishment in all of the wasteland, the pinky-uppest territory there is. But little did I know, inside, there would be some greasy characters. Pun number 3. I baconed my way inside, that's nothing, and lost all my money at the blackjack table before I started the quest. I don't know what happened. I blacked out and it was gone.
Okay, how about if I tell a good joke, then you have to give me my money back, okay? I got it. So, how did the bacon pay for college? Strip.
The quest actually starts over here at the bar, where you meet a man named Heck Gunderson. Heck is the biggest Brahmin rancher in the area, and if you don't know what a Brahmin is, totally fair, I get it, it's like a cow, but it looks like that. I feel like calling him a rancher was a pretty easy giveaway, and you probably should have put those clues together and drawn that conclusion yourself. But hey, I won't fry you for it. I'm gonna stop doing that. Head Gunderson is here on business with the White Glove Society, the group that runs this hotel and controls all the food distribution in the area. Well, while here on business, his son has gone missing. He wants our help to go and find him. Now, just a quick little side note here before I go into how I tackled this mission. Fallout New Vegas is not like other video games. There are a ton of different ways that you can tackle this mission specifically. Now, the possibilities are not endless necessarily, but sometimes it really does feel like that. There's so much depth and variation in the different choices you can make, and some of the choices are blocked by a level gap. You'll see bits of this through my experience of it, but just know that there are multiple ways that this can go that even I won't be able to show in this video. I told Heck I would help him find his son and began investigating the area. Hopefully he would give me some money in return. I have truly lost everything at the blackjack table.
No, because like it's a play on words, because like bacon strip, like you have a strip of bacon, and also you can take off your clothes for money.
They take away all your weapons as soon as you walk into the casino, so you really don't have much to work with here unless you steal your weapons back from the safe, or you just steal things from the people here. I didn't end up stealing my weapons back or anything. I played it cool and went up to the guy who seemed to be in charge named Mortimer. I asked him if he had any work that I could help with, and he said,
"No, not from the likes of you, I'm afraid."
Okay, why the fuck would you say that? Could've just said no. He told me he was not in charge, in fact, and that I should go to talk to someone named Marjorie. I went and found her, talked to her for a little bit, and what she said just kind of blew me away. These people are self-reporting like crazy around here.
This again? I thought this was all settled. I answered every one of that investigator's questions to his satisfaction and gave all the help I could. For the last time, the White Glove Society has never and will never consume human flesh for any reason.
I just vaguely asked about a missing person, and then she just assumed I was talking about a completely different missing person, and then insisted, "Oh, we don't eat people, we don't eat people, we don't do that, we don't do that around here." Bro, no one asked if you ate him. I just wanted to know if you've seen him. I didn't consider he'd be in your belly. It never came to mind. Did you eat him? Yes. I didn't want to give away my suspicions just yet, so I just kept playing it cool, And I asked if I could talk to the other investigator who was investigating the first missing person. Before I did that, though, I just poked my head into the kitchen to see what I could find. I figured if they were talking about eating him, then if they were gonna prepare him somewhere, it probably would have been in there. I didn't find the body, but what I did find was two people cooking entire animals with flamethrowers. Awesome, but also I am trespassing right now, and so all they would need to do is turn around and I would get extra crispy. I apologize. That pun was a relapse, and it is not who I want to be. I've changed, and I'm gonna be different, and I will be good to you and the kids too. And I just look. A boy needs his father. You can't keep me away. I snuck around the two cooks? Question mark! Exclamation point. Grabbed the knife off the table and made my way downstairs. I did get immediately spotted by a person and did not know how to handle the situation, and so I stabbed him to death. Didn't even really mean to do it, just something that happened. Sometimes you gotta improvise. That's improv, baby. I figured I had already killed him. I might as well strip him and wear his clothes. And it was so cool. I didn't even know this beforehand. This counts as a disguise. Like everyone, if you walk around like this, will believe that you're just one of the White Glove Society. So I put on his clothes and just hoped no one would find his naked body in the hall, and I pressed on. I walked down the hall and found a bunch of wine that had been left out, as well as the head chef who I met, and he is very mean to me.
Why are you standing still? Do you think the world waits for you while you stand there drooling?
I didn't find anything else though, so I just left back upstairs to go check in on the investigator. Mortimer gave me the room number of the head investigator and asked if I had made any breaks in the case. And I thought this was my chance to get a little devious, mischievous even, and so I lied. And I said yes. I thought if they were cannibals, this would surely make them show their hand. I could have tried to convince him that I was actually cool with all of them eating people, but I didn't have the cannibal perk that you can actually get in this game, so I just assumed it probably wouldn't have worked. I haven't actually tried to play this quest as a cannibal, but I bet you there's a whole path for that as well. I went up to the investigator's room only to find him dead on the floor, and two members of the White Glove Society rushing in behind me to come and kill me too. Luckily, I had stolen a knife, so I just stabbed them too. Definitely feeling less bad about killing that guy in the basement earlier. Now, on the investigator's body, there was a matchbook that had a note written on it to meet somebody in the steam room at 4 p.m. Now, at this point, it was like the middle of the night, and even though this guy was technically dead, he still owns the bed, so I had to stand there and wait for 16 hours. And then I headed to the steam room where I met This guy. You can talk to this guy at the beginning of the quest in the lobby, where he doesn't really have much to say, but now he's got a whole lot to say.
The White Glove Society strictly forbids eating humans, but we weren't always the White Glove Society. Mortimer and some of the others have regressed to the old ways.
Just to summarize his little lore dump here, basically, not all of the White Glove Society are cannibals. Oops. But Mortimer is trying to bring the practice back within the organization, not as a means of survival, but of luxury. He sees human meat as the pinnacle of food and has been slowly kidnapping people who wouldn't be missed here and there to eat them. But recently he's gotten sloppy, kidnapping Heck Gunderson's son, a very high-profile person here in the strip, and he plans to feed his son to the rest of the White Glove Society without their knowledge as the way to win them over. There are a few different ways you can choose to handle him from here, but I chose to go back down into the basement and kill the head chef. Not just because he was mean to me earlier and made me feel bad, but because he had been slowly perfecting this recipe that would be a good substitution for human meat that I was going to prepare for myself. I stole the recipe off his body, but apparently I was too stupid to follow it, and so I did what any sane person does. I took drugs to make me temporarily smarter so that I could cook it. I made the dish and then I called in the head waiter to serve it to the people. I opened the freezer to find
Me too, I love the green screen cat.
Gunderson, who was thankfully still alive, and I convinced him to come with me. And then I snuck us both into the room where Mortimer thought he was serving Ted to the entire organization and waited for him to deliver his speech.
As a society, we've endeavored to sample the finest food and drink the world has to offer. But we are living a lie. There is a meat sweeter than the most corn-fed livestock. And tonight, for the first time as a society, you are sampling that very dish.
Once he's done talking, you can jump out and reveal to everyone that they have not been eating human meat and that Mortimer has exposed himself. And you know, I think after my little aha moment there, I really convinced everyone how terrible cannibalism truly is. I really got through to them by exposing the evil in their organization here. And so, to thank me, they all got up and tried to kill me in an angry mob. I don't know if I did something wrong here, or why they did that. I kind of thought I was gonna be cheered on like a hero, but they chased me for a while. Then the mob got bigger. Every time I ran past more guards, they would join. It started to look like ants more so. Maybe they were always gonna kill me, but like, holy shit, man, they're tough. They were strong in numbers. I died so many times just trying to get away. What was I supposed to do here? Did I do this wrong? I didn't even finish the quest. I just ran away. Ted is still following me to this day, right now. I don't know what to do with him. This is just one of the problems with having so many options, such open-ended quest design, is sometimes you can just fuck something up and have no idea. Still awesome though. I think it's so interesting how different the White Glove Society is from the people in Andale. The common ground that they tread despite the opposite ends of the spectrum they sit on. This is a huge reason why I love this franchise, and specifically its side content so much. The framework is so rock solid that you can just focus on telling stories of people within it. Who would you be within this world? And what kind of person can this world create? It's rare to find a game that gives you such a narrative playground, and that is what makes these games to me so special. Now we've got one more example of cannibalism within the Fallout series, and it's from a game that I initially wrote off and didn't play too much of. I know when you hear this, some of you will be a little turned off. Just remember, I'm gonna be wearing a hot dog costume. It's gonna be awesome. Just stay tuned. But it is, in fact, Fallout 76. Look at this thing. I mean, come on, you gotta stick around for this. Oh. When you're going both ways, come on, guys. This is just funny. This is just funny. Yes, the example is from Fallout 76, and hot dog, it's a good one. I lied to you before. People don't change. For those of you who don't know, quick history lesson, Fallout 76 is the multiplayer Fallout game that came out in a not-so-playable state back in 2018. Since then, though, it's gotten some pretty sizable updates and has some pretty cool stories within it if you actually go looking for it. What made this instance in Fallout 76 so interesting to me, and the reason I wanted to include it in this video, is because this game specifically seems to make some interesting changes to the lore around cannibalism, specifically what eating the meat will turn you into. So I was doing the main quest in Fallout 76, which at some point involves exploring the different raider factions around the Appalachia region. One of the factions here is called the Gourmands, which is known for their immoral choice in meats. You can find their old hideout in a place called Bolton Greens, originally a private school for all the rich kids, now turned into Big hideout full of meat bags. The Gourmand Raiders seem to have been run off pretty recently by these scorched enemies. It couldn't have been too long ago, given that some of these skeletons left behind still have muscle and fat left on them. I broke into the only locked room
Not the kittens and the bodies.
In the building and came across the Gourmand's terminal. It details how they got this place, how their leader was a man named Morris Stevens, and how they only had one rule. Don't eat members of the gang. The lowest possible bar. They had one rule. Hey, you can eat people. That's fine. But don't eat your bros. Strict ban on broloni. That one was a stretch. And somehow, even still, the leader, Morris Stevens, he wasn't going to be able to accommodate that. That was just kind of too far of a rule. You know, they're really trying to put a lot of pressure on him, put him in a box. You can't put Morris in a box. He ate one of the guys just walking around, and not even because he was hungry. He just felt like it. All the logs say he was like a fat bastard, just a gluttonous man, slapping his big belly around. It doesn't seem like any of them really are doing this for survival at this point. More almost like it's a culture, a way of life for them. Anyway, Morris was exiled from the Gourmands and was said to have headed out west. I looked on the map and found a cave out towards the east and just headed that way. Bones hung from the entrance. And as I went inside, enemies crawled out from under the ground and charged towards to attack. Now, I won't lie to you. I bought up to level 50 so it wouldn't take me months to get strong enough to get in here, and I think I overshot it just a little bit. I kind of one-shot everything in here with a basic shotgun. It was a little disgusting. I would have left my light on so that y'all could see more, but I thought the cave ambience looked cool. So sorry, it's just gonna be dark. My bad. But it looks cool though. I like the pretty lights. I eventually came across this skeleton of a woman with a note laid next to it. Morris hunts people from the road, but he won't share the meat. I've been living off the scraps, but the toenails keep getting caught in my teeth. Don't mind the costume change, I had to film this later. Now he's starting to look at me strangely, with hunger in his eyes. He's changing. We both are. Question is, who's going to feast first?
Not me though.
Given that her skeleton lays here, it's pretty obvious who ate who. And that just leaves Morris, who has turned into what this game is calling a Wendigo. There's a final message left behind by Morris that I'll just let play out for you here.
Edie, darling Edie. Oh, how delicious you were. The
Staying on screen, I'm not going anywhere.
taste of your flesh as it passed down my throat. She's dead. I killed her. I ate her. Oh, no. But I had to. I must eat. So hungry, starving. Need more. More flesh. More blood. Need more. Find more.
So I did a little research on the
OMG. Yikes. Hi Mad Jack, welcome.
the Wendigo, and what I found was that it originally comes from Algonquin folklore. It's described sometimes as a creature that hunts and eats people, and other times as a spirit that will possess a human, causing them to eat other humans. It's said that those who are greedy and gluttonous are more susceptible to being possessed by the spirit of the Wendigo, which this guy definitely was.
Slapping his big belly.
My theory for why in Fallout canon he would become this creature is that maybe the people he was eating had trace amounts of radiation in their body because the bombs had just dropped recently. And so he was consuming all of this flesh that held the radiation, and it turned him into this specific kind of monster. But there are some supernatural and spiritual things within Fallout, so maybe this is some kind of possession. It's hard to say though, because there are no correct answers as to why this happens and why it only happens in Fallout 76. It does not appear in any other Fallout game, but it appears twice in Fallout 76. There's a complete other example of someone eating human flesh and becoming a Wendigo. Another interesting thing I found was that the faction is called the Gourmands, and the White Glove Society, there is a room in there, a restaurant called the gourmand. The White Glove Society does talk about how they originally, as a group, went by a different name and were known for eating people, but went through a kind of corporate rebrand. Maybe the gourmands moved out west and put on weird masks and gloves 175 years from now. I find this instance so interesting and different from the others because while, yes, it started as a means of survival, that is not why Morris continued the practice. He also wasn't looking for the most refined food in the wasteland, considering himself a connoisseur of some kind. It seemed to me more like he lost himself, like eating the flesh poisoned his mind and turned him into something else. In that holotape, you can hear a bit of Morris coming through, but he's quickly overtaken by the insatiable hunger, making this a third, completely different corner in this massive world. I think I've always found the idea of cannibalism so scary just because that hunger comes from a real place. You know, I think as people, we can all imagine a circumstance where we are lost in the wilderness and need to do what's necessary to survive. Like, it's such an outlandish, insane thought, and yet it's so real. My favorite example is probably from the Walking Dead video game, if any of y'all have ever played that. There's just a bit in there where you meet these people who seem nice and then they start trying to eat y'all. And that really freaked me out as a kid. I don't know, the concept is just like terrifying and fascinating to me. I also just think human nature in general is so fascinating and terrifying. Like, who are you when you're backed into a corner? What would a good man be willing to do? Those kinds of stories have always been interesting to me, and I think Fallout has such a unique and compelling way of telling those stories. Let me know which example you like best. Was there one that was more interesting than the others to you? And was there anything from the Fallout universe about cannibalism that I ain't touch on that you wish I maybe would have? Let me know in the comments down below, and after that, click the card right here to go and watch another one of my videos. Thank you to the $25 patrons over here who subscribed on Patreon. Appreciate that. I'm currently standing in my basement at 4 in the morning wearing a hot dog costume, and I do it for you, baby. And money. I probably also do it for money, but mostly you. Anyway, thank you so much for whatever number of subscribers is up there. I can't even keep count anymore. Y'all are changing my life in huge ways. I really appreciate it. Click the card. Thank you. And hot dog.
Una de las cosas más icónicas del
OMG, first, please don't eat us. Is spooky even if you're really hungry. OMG 2. Lololo. No, do not eat the Pepe. No, 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 no. Onolith? No. No vegetarian or anyone. Lola lola lolo. Mad Jack likes heavy metal lololo. Music, right? Music? The music Lolo. This will get all the gamer girls I like baby metal. Tips Fedora. And smirk. Yeah, I know my aura gets all of them. Is just too powerful. And Riz. Smirk. So do you usually come here? Nah bruh, I gotta update my phrases. More Riz. Yeah, sometimes the Riz takes me over. Nothing to do is like morbing. Can't help it. When I see a Neko kawaii game girl. Gamer girl. Hey, not me. Lolalol. I mean the ladies. Not that face lolalol. Wish I could smirk lololo. I'm not even good at winking. Lolalol. Let me try. Well, I probably look dumb AF. Lololo. Master the precise smirk always. Me trying to riz I can't riz what is rizzed already. Tips Fedora. Is hard spell to break Lololo. Precise cigar. Well, tips Fedora, what about now, my lady? I'm a unicorn. Kinda stinky though. But is okay, don't fear. I am here for the good. Some unicorn magic. Not a toilet, lolololo, WTF. Do not sniff. You might lose your sense. Lolololol. Stinky corn sounds cool. Mad Jack Lolololo. Twilight Stinkle. Lolalalololo. Lolalalololo. Yeah, kinda. Don't be mean to the unicorn. I just want to be magical. Princess Smellistia. Lola lola lolo. My brodas, we are too creative here. We are getting too crazy. Next thing is rocket science. If we don't stop. Lola lolo.
Wow.
Donating the glorious smelly corn. All hail.
Hey. I am not. Mad Jack thanks you so much for the help. Thanks a lot, but I am not in smelly corn. Yo, $1 million idea. Smelly corn toys, ponies that smells like different fruits. Stinky pie lola la la la. Stop changing their names. Lola lolo. Farter shy. Lola la la la. Are you and you woo farter? The fuck that means lololo. Twist ink fartle. Lola lolo. Nah bruh, we stinky AF. Why we are like this lola lolol. And don't say like viewer, like streamer. Lololo. Cuz that would be too lol. Gamer fumes lolalol. Steampunk gamer. Lots of fumes. Sometimes we get too silly, too crazy. But is okay is funny. To be exist with y'all. To exist with y'all. Lol. Sometimes I might sound like a monkey. But I'm trying to correct the autotype. The most I can. To stop sounding like a monkey. Hey Mad Jack Lololo, I am not an smelly princess. Thanks for being silly with me, appreciate it a lot. Hi Claymaniac. Hey, I am a unicorn. Not stinky time.
Wow.
I am a vampire, I don't sweat like y'all humans. OMG2 hum, thanks you so much. Thank you a lot. You're daring, Mad Jack. How dare you? The disrespect. This humans. Crip smell? Crypto smells stinky. I mean, crypts smell stinky. My crypt is clean. Not a nasty vampire. Well, a lil cuz the freaking bugs. Right now y'all on all the right to call me stinky just till the problem is fixed. Later I will not allow it. Lolololo. Not beating the stinky allegations is crazy. Sounds like a tittle video. Sounds like a title video. We gotta talk about something. Crypto stinks? I got it right the first time, Lolo. Hey, but my dusty smell might be cool to someone, Clay. Someone that likes vampires and dust. If there's someone not allergic to dust. But most of people is so might be alone forever, that's the destiny of an stinky vampire. Right now I am not truly alone with this goddamn bugs, lololol. Right now I'm not truly alone with this goddamn bugs, lololol. I had never felt so accompanied. Lololo. Yeah, right now is an issue, but we gonna fight 'em. No mercy. There can only be one stinker in this place, and it's gonna be me.
Yeah.
Prisci 37 Prisci hi hello.
No bug is taking my title. Bugcat Noms, thank you for the 5 months, appreciate it a lot. Thanks you so much. A real Pepe would eat 'em all. Yeah, right. Since they eat bugs. It's time to incofin the Pepe plush. Finally, its mission. To eat all the buggies. OMG, there's a bug. Run. Run. A bug cat. A bug cat. Like Australia. Lololo. Kill the problem with another problem. I remember that video, that was wild. I actually pull an actually moment with that one. And told someone lol. I couldn't keep that info just for myself. Lolololol. Rizzing the nurse lol. Clean out refrigerator. Good luck. Yeah, my Riz is actually Riz. I pull a fact and riz the ladies. Lololololo. But isn't that the thing? What is swooning? Sorry, my English level still not so oolala with complex words. A wooging? Damn. Me so cool, thanks. Faint from being riz too hard. That sounds very realistic, lol. Why is Pepe stinky? Someone needed the badge. My lady tips fedora. Let me get my badass images. Men, all the images I have is pure shit post and whatever. My mug for thick cough. My mug for thick coffee. Is there something like thick coffee, or I am just throwing words? Lola Lolo, is that actually something? Hey, are you envy cuz I am the alpha and you're a beta? I can notice betas just by the smell. And alpha like me can tell. Rare long Prisci stream. Well, I don't want to be aware of the bugs. Thick Pikachu. I read there's gonna be some plushies of M. Like Thick Pikachu. Grr. What? Did he just grr to me? Someone call animal control. Bruh is getting feral. Yeah, plushies of the original Pikachu. "3 hours men today I am slaying." Well, actually 2. My broda's sorry if I take my time. I gotta do therapy before stream nebulizations. I do like 3 meds that have to do with breathing cuz in this position is hard and my lungs are dumber. So I need to take care before stream. This had helped me to feel better with my lungs while streaming. Without M is messy, so I gotta do M. Sorry about it. I should start stream when I am done with M. But yeah, my bad. Enjoy your thick Pikachu plush Bixby. Sick music Lololo. I know I am sick, but I am kidding. I know what you mean. But yeah, I always try to put some nice music. Thickachu. Thickachu. Thick catchu. Cursed AF. Well, since we are so unhine, we always end up talking about cursed stuff lol. I don't mind, I like here. Lolololo. But yeah, thick Pikachu is back. I like the more round Pikachu. This skinny Pikachu is not my thing. Nah, the OG Pikachu is funny AF bruh, is just there staring to nothing and existing. Makes me remember the Pepichu. There's actually a Pepichu that is yellow. Both looks cursed AF. Well, I have the honor to own one. The green one. Carrot lips? Well, what I like is that they are around. And they have the Pikachu tail. The baby laughed. Sorry, this AI baby is everywhere. Why is laughing like a bro? Lololo. My bro does. I wanna keep going, but I feel epi and I also gotta do a post, so I think is okay for me to go. Let me go. Leave my hand. Drama. Ah, wolf. OMG, I don't want to go. No, now that I read y'all, I can't. Yeah, that's okay, I will raid since I gotta do something. My bro does. Thanks a lot for today. I had a mega fun moment. And a nice weekend peak day. Thanks for being part of it today. Also thanks a lot for the help, we gonna get it and kill those bugs, thanks a lot. I didn't expected this help, thanks a lot. Please have a nice rest of the day or night. Don't eat no one. Don't be stinky. Take lots of care, drink lots of water. And please, 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 very please donate plasma if you can. That being said, have a nice night or day. I will see y'all tomorrow for more fun times. Take lots of care.
まったねチャットさん。ビュビエ。ビエビエ。ビエビエ。ビエビエ。ビエビエ。ビエビエ。ビエビエ。フラザーファート。トワイライトスティンキー。NAHBRUA ナビー RUA ナブルーイムダム AF ロロロ